In the Red Letter Challenge this week, we're focusing on being, and part of being is worship. It's seeing ourselves as we are and seeing our God as He is and has revealed Himself to us in Scripture, ascribing to Him all that is due to Him because of what He has done for us. And we do that with praise and with action, by singing His praises, by coming together in worship. But it is more than that. Worship is an orientation of our lives towards our God. And in doing so, showing Him the reverent love and devotion that He deserves in everything that we say and do. And because of that, using that kind of as our definition, worship is not something that we simply do only on Sundays. What we do on Sunday mornings as a community, when we gather together in His house in order to sing His praises, hear His words, and receive His good gifts, that's all worship. But it is only one part of worship. And it is a small amount of the worship that our lives are meant to express, that is only 2 hours at most of like 168 in a week. And as human beings, if we're going to limit our worship of God to those 2 hours every week, we're going to spend the other 166 of those, at least the waking portion of those 166, worshiping something. Because we were made to worship. We were built to show honor, respect, and devotion to something or someone with our lives. It's part of what we do. And if we're not doing it towards our God, if we're not orienting our lives towards our God, it's going to be oriented towards something. And if you've been reading along in the Red Letter Challenge, Zach Zender highlights a few of these things for today. He says, if we're not oriented towards God and showing devotion and pursuing God, we might pursue money or power, other people, or ourselves. We might end up worshiping ourselves. We might worship sex. We might worship our work, and so much more. Anything can ultimately become an object of our devotion if we're not careful. So how do we worship God during the week? Well, Paul writes this. He says, in Romans 12:1, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. That is, our lives are supposed to be ones of worship, sacrificial living for God. Spiritual worship is so much more than just Sunday mornings at church or online with God's people, even though those are valuable and necessary parts of our worship. Worship, in the larger sense, is a daily living out of our faith by respecting our God, by honoring Him in word and deed, and then showing our devotion to Him by how we speak and act and then treat the other people and creation that's in our lives. Showing that our lives are oriented towards Him and what He would have us do. We'll talk soon.